Leeds United have a new owner. Kind of. The Whites have reportedly got a new part owner into the club that holds a large stake in the side. But what does it all mean, and are the reports actually accurate? That is something where you have to be quite loose with definitions, sort of, but I have read a lot into this for you guys, and I will explain it bit by bit. But first, subscribe. Cheers. It's massively appreciated. Anyway, reports came out on what will be last night for you, recently-ish, last few hours for me, that Will Ferrell has bought a large stake in Leeds United. Now, I read these reports and I was like, that is genuinely insane and makes no sense. So I thought I'd do a little bit more reading into it to explain, and this will take a little bit of breaking down. First up, it's very, very important to note that the sources are iffy, as in they're not constantly the most reliable. It's the Daily Star, it's the Sun. The Mirror is a little bit more reliable than those, but it's still not fantastic. We're not talking The Athletic and Sky Sports here, basically. But there's enough of those sources to trust it. No one has immediately come out and said, yeah, that's bollocks. We've heard nothing about that. It seems like it's something that could quite feasibly be a thing. So we will go forwards with big old pinches of salt, but in the event that this is true, which we will assume that it is. A statement went out that he has reportedly pumped a large sum of money into their US owners 49ers Enterprises and is expected to be unveiled as a major stakeholder in the club in the coming days. So, again, we are assuming this is true. What does this practically mean for Leeds United? Is it a big shift in the leadership structure at Leeds? Is someone else going to be making the decisions from now on? Is Daniel Farker doomed because we want to sign an American or something weird like that? First up, we need to think about the other investors that have a role in the club. We're talking Larry Nance, Russell Crowe, Jordan Spieth, Michael Phelps, on and on and on and on. This sort of group of sub-investors that are part of the 49ers Enterprises group that were like, okay, cool, we'll put some money into this deal as well. To sort of add to the pot of cash that owns Leeds United and technically, yes, take on a stake. But at the end of the day, whilst they do have sort of an interest in Leeds United, they don't have any real influence. That influence is still held by the structure of 49ers Enterprises. Their cash is a part of the pot of cash that 49ers Enterprises have, of course, but they don't have like a vote at board level or anything stupid like that. That would be crazy. It's not like a Rob McElhenney, Ryan Reynolds job. It's a Parag Marathe will still be basically leading at a board level. And Will Ferrell will fall into the same category because in terms of net worth, he doesn't have enough to have just bought himself a vote on the board. He's got, I think, a net worth of something like $160 million. The club is valued at, basically, when the 49ers bought it, off the top of my head, that much-ish. So, yeah, it would take his entire net worth to buy out the club. And for celebrities like this, the club is effectively a hobby. And in exchange for that, the football club get a nice little wad of cash just to sort of spend on transfers, clear off debts, make sure we're doing okay. And yeah, it's like a very, very expensive season ticket, I think, for Will Ferrell. And a lot of people will see this news and think, oh God, what does this all mean? Is there a problem or anything like that? But there is no need to panic. Things are fine. Not really. We don't need to panic at all. There will be zero changes at the executive level from this. From the opinion of a Parag Marathe, a Greta Steinson, and Angus Kinnear, this season's been a pretty good one. We came into it having to effectively rebuild the squad, and we'll have to spend next summer doing the exact same thing again. What you don't want to have to do when you're doing a squad rebuild, because that'll be the case if we're in the Championship, because we will lose some players and need to replace them, or in the Premier League, because we'll need to upgrade a hell of a lot of positions. Either way, we're going to need to do that rebuild on the pitch. I think it'd be very, very nice if we didn't have to do that rebuild off the pitch. And I think the 49ers Enterprises will agree with that and think, okay, let's keep everyone in the positions they're in, and we can make the changes at a more stable time. And the introduction of another investor isn't really going to change that in the slightest. If anything, this is a good thing because it means there is more money coming in. There is someone else saying, I'll chuck a couple of million quid at that. And that can either go in the transfer kitty, it can clear off some of the transfer debts that we currently owe other people. Brilliant. Fine. All good. Basically, the club will be a little bit more financially healthy as a result of this. The worst thing that can possibly happen as a result of all of this is sometimes we might have to see Will Ferrell in the East Stand, in one of those nice little boxes. Maybe the West Stand, the bit with the white seats. But at the end of the day, that's not too much of a bad thing in order to pay off some of the club's financial issues that we might come up against, especially if the Championship is a little bit nasty to us, holds on, and we end up having to deal with the loss of parachute payments. And at worst, he already owns a football club that's doing okay. He part owns LAFC, so be fine. So you might be wondering, as a result of all this, where can all my anxiety go now? I thought this new owner thing meant that my brain had gone into a spiral and I was losing it, and oh my god, what are we going to do from this point? There are plenty of directions that as a Leeds fan your anxiety can go in, and this has always been the case. We are literally in the playoffs right now. Next Sunday, this time next week, ish. I'm not sure what time I'm releasing this video. If you're watching this at noon, this time next week, Leeds United will be playing against Norwich, so we can focus on that. And we can focus on the transfer window to come. But I think behind the scenes ownership stuff, when it's just been sort of overhyped by the Sun, the Mirror, the Mail, all that shebang, leave it be. Because it's literally just a new investor joining the pile and chucking a bit more cash into the bank account. On the playoff stuff, I'll have plenty of videos coming up in the next week, including something with a Norwich fan, which is currently in the pipeline, someone that I work with, someone else that I work with, an accredited journalist for the San Francisco 49ers. Should be a pretty good chat about how they work behind the scenes, how they work in, not transfer windows, because they don't have those in America, but you know what I mean. That could be a quite interesting little bit of a deep dive, and other fun little bits of interesting stuff I'm hoping to bring your way. But ultimately, all of our anxiety can go towards backing the side and making sure that we end up promoted. Because by the end of the season, that'd be quite nice to have. Imagine going up at Wembley. Leeds win the playoffs. That'd be so nice. That'd be something different. At the end of the day, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this whole new owner shebang and whether that stake will actually be significant, especially compared to the other celebrities that are in a similar spot. What you think about the playoffs, where we're going to end up. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe as well if you want to see more of my bits and bobs. Could even become a channel member, because all that revenue right now is going towards Prostate Cancer UK. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. I wonder if I could get... Oh. That was a good time for the camera to go. You see, this is why I need Will Ferrell to buy part of my YouTube channel. See you later.